Royce, do me a favor.
Yes.
Intro the rewind, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yes.
What am I supposed to say?
Just say, hey, welcome into the TexAgs Rewind.
Okay.
Just tell
you
them.
ready?
Yeah. Oh, we're already rolling. This is part of it.
Okay.
This is part of the deal.
What a pleasure it is for me to welcome you into TexAgs Rewind.
Presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We've got Royce, we've got Roy, we've got Matt. Favorite part of the show, Roy May.
Logan Lee breaking down the game last night. It's just, always like, the talking head expert to talk about it. Yeah.
You.
I really enjoyed Aaron Torres'
You
take
always
on.
say Aaron Torres.
No, I don't. He always does. I've never said Aaron Torres until right now, but I really enjoyed his take on changes to the college football playoff. I think those would be. I think those would work.
Mr. Hickman.
That you're back.
I agree. I get paid today. Caitlin, you want to give us one?
Yeah, well, fan show, of course, and I really liked Stephen McGee today.
Stephen was great. That and more. I like that all, by the way. I really like the host and the co-host. They're all great. It is the Rewind. Check it. Amari Nyblack, the tight end from Texas, transferred to A&M. It was interesting. I feel like tight end was a position that they were really looking at. They've added now 4, right? And the other 3 that they added were more of your blocking types, which I think they absolutely needed. Amari Nyblack seems like a kind of guy that can go out and get some receptions. He certainly did that at Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, tight end's a position that I feel like, talked a lot about this last season and the difference they can have. And it kind of seemed like we'd have games where the tight end was heavily featured and then they would kind of disappear, right? We had some games where they had the one I'm thinking of is it's the first time since, I think, 2006, we had 2 guys go above 70 yards receiving in one game, tight end position. And so just the opportunity there, and I always hark back to the mismatch that tight ends create, right? So, especially on a run-based offense, if you put 2 tight ends out there, it normally is going to invite base personnel, which means they're going to have that linebacker out there instead of a nickelback, right?
Yep.
And the mismatch then is created not in the run game as much, but in the pass game, where you have an athletic tight end matched up against a lesser quality athlete at linebacker, and you got to make them pay, right? We talk a lot about these wide receivers being able to make defensive backs and defensive coordinators pay when they go single high. We just couldn't do that consistently enough. You have to have guys that can make you pay. And the same thing at the tight end position. If you're going to play base personnel, it doesn't matter if it's too high or single high, you got to make them pay, right? If they're going to match up against Jason Witten with the linebacker. That's a mismatch. They can't do it, right? You're going to have to make them think twice about it. And so, look, I think that the biggest part of our offense that needed improvement is obviously in the pass game, and I think it's finding some weapons for our quarterback so he can play at a consistently high level, and tight end certainly goes into that.
Yep. OB?
Well, the guys come from Texas. Well, you look at Texas and the tight end they had last year, what he did. My question is, but can he block? And that's okay if he can't, because I've seen teams that have a blocking tight end and a receiving tight end, and you bring in the receiving tight end when you want to throw. Just be sure that when you want to run, that you have your running tight end the guy who can block, because I seem to recall the Aggies struggling with that concept last year.
Their effort, their hustle, their intensity, their desire to win put them in a spot to get a lucky bounce.
Yep.
To get a couple of lucky breaks, to make some baskets at the end. This was a physical game. We talked about LSU and previous teams of how the officials don't let them play the game. They call every little foul. The officials did the exact opposite in this game. Ole Miss, with 4 minutes left in the game, they took their first free throw attempt. Ole Miss was 1 of 1 from the free throw line, and then at that point, A&M was 7 of 9, I think.
That's what they finished. 7 of 9.
7 of 9. I mean,
they let them play.
They let them play.
Yep.
And that's good for A&M to an extent, because A&M is physical.
But they didn't get to the line a lot, which is typically how they score.
I mean,
that's why all the metrics are weird.
That's why you saw this game and how it plays out. I mean, I can't believe A&M had 20 turnovers, shot the way that they shot from the field between Phelps and Taylor, and won the game on the road against the top 20 team. Like that to me, as much of a headache as this game was, it shows how good this team is. They can win games like that.
Look, if it was not a team that I talk about and love as much as the Aggies, that's one of those games I would have probably I would have gone to a different channel for a little bit and checked back in, right? I'd be like, all right, I'm getting angry. Let me just see what's on the Disney Channel, not that I've ever watched, and just get a couple minutes by myself.
Okay.
Anyway, but this team has proven, just give it time. Just like they may not win them all.
Just let it simmer.
But just
it'll
like
get
even
there.
the LSU game, I'm watching that game kind of frustrated. But they won by double digits. After the 12-team playoff, just your takeaways of how it worked, what you liked, what you didn't. Just give me your thoughts of what maybe some of the things you learned.
Yeah, no, I think the ratings coming out yesterday is an interesting talking point. Listen, I liked that it was decided on the field, and I was somebody that wasn't necessarily an advocate for expanding to 12 because I didn't feel like there were 12 great teams, and I think we saw that in round one. But I think what was also cool is Notre Dame wasn't perfect every week, and that was okay, but they got better every year, and they earned their spot in Monday night's championship game. Ohio State wasn't perfect even in November, but they got in and played their best football when it mattered. So I like that part. I will say I do think that the postseason, from a calendar perspective, went on a little bit too long. I know a lot of people have said this, and I happen to agree. I just felt like by Monday night, there was no juice at all for that game. And I understand it was kind of a weird deal. The inauguration's going on, whatever. But, you start it December 19th. You go through New Year's. It's basically 10 days, in between games per round. And I think we got to figure out a way to get this thing started earlier and ending earlier. I've seen Joel Klatt make the argument, end the season on New Year's Day. I like that. I think the problem is that then you're probably starting the season middle of August before students are back on campus. So that isn't ideal. The proposal that I really put out, I just think, look, conference championship games, I don't know that coaches want to coach in them anymore. Look at Georgia losing Carson Beck. I think eliminate conference championship games, end the season on Thanksgiving weekend, get us our 12 teams, maybe get a first round, not a first round bye, but a bye week for everybody to kind of get healthy, and then get this thing started, December 10th or December 8th or December 13th, and try to wrap it up by a couple days after New Year's Day. Because I just think it was a really fun product, but it just felt like by the time we got to Monday, it had kind of been forgotten and lost with all the NFL stuff and all the other things going on in the world of sports.
Moving on, Travis Kelce, tight end for Kansas City. He's going to have more than less than 70.5 receiving yards with Taylor Swift in attendance.
Oh, God. Because you said Taylor, I hope he gives less than. I'm going less than just because Taylor Swift.
You're a grumpy old man.
Because Taylor Swift is awful.
Do they have a square for because this is such a prop kind of thing for how many times she'll be on camera?
I
bet you can find it in Vegas.
I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, yeah.
That's what Prize Pick should have had. More or less than 25 times they're going to show her on TV.
Jeez,
hey, you never
man.
know. You never know if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl. You never know.
If they show her 25 times, that means Kelce had 25 catches, which means he's going over 70.5.
That's right.
Yeah, I struggle with this one. But yep, I'm good. Less than.
I'm good. Pass.
I'm good.
No way.
Pass.
Yeah,
less than.
I think our star singer is going to have to bundle up because it's going to be less than.
The Ravens showed it, and it is still shocking to this day that Travis Kelce continues to get wide open.
Yeah.
And part of that's Travis Kelce. I get it.
Right.
So I go more than just because it's unbelievable. And you're talking about one of those throws is going to be more than half of this. 40, 45 yards. So it's unbelievable to me that he's ever open the way he is.
He's so slow, and yet I don't get it. I don't get it either.
Witten was the same way.
Last one, Terry McLaurin, wide receiver for the Commanders. Is he going to have more than less than 65.5 receiving yards?
I'd say more.
Yeah, I'm going to go more than.
Yeah, more.
This is one of my stars on my team this year, the San Antonio Banderas. So Terry McLaurin, more. I bet you he goes triple digits.
Yep.
More's across the board. All right. Thanks for playing, guys.
So you got darts on Prize Picks. You got UFC on Prize Picks.
You've got FS, or what do they call it?
Formula One.
Formula One.
F1.
F1.
Do they have table tennis?
They got table tennis. They got everything you could possibly
Thumb wrestling?
imagine. What?
Thumb wrestling.
You know, I don't know what kind of competitive thumb wrestling they got out there for you, but
But
you know,
if
generally,
there is
if
a
they-
league, it's in there.
if they've got it, then
If it's
if
professional.
it's professional, then they got it, all right? And that's why you got to play. I mean, look, if you're into that stuff,
I was with
gonna be
my
awesome.
nephew in Orlando. He was playing Prize Picks the whole time. Every game mattered to him. Every game was like, it was fun.
All right. You got to like, subscribe, share, comment, send it to your friends. I've subscribed to TexAgs. Follow them all on all their social medias. Liking and commenting, all that stuff helps with the metrics.
Yep.
And so,
And I got one for everybody. All right, help the metrics. Answer this question. He says Morgan Wallen is not a real country music star or singer, I should say.
He's not country.
Is he country? Comment below. Those who answer correctly win a like.
He's pop.
Or nothing.
He
You
sings
win nothing
pop
at all.
music. It's not country at all.
He did country music on The Voice and in the UK.
Don't care. He's a
Mr.
pop
Country
singer.
fight,
after
fight,
me.
fight, fight, fight.
See you next time.